Hi. So I've just stepped onto the TED stage with some random objects, but hopefully that will become clear later on. I grew up in Cumbria. It's a beautiful place. We often call it the Lake District when we want to call it beautiful. It's called Cumbria. And when I was little, we used to go on long, cold, rainy walks. Because when you're 7, walks are always long and cold and rainy. And every time we got to a bridge, my dad would sing a song. I'm a troll, roly-o, and I'll eat you for my supper. And you have to imagine my dad's voice is this big, low, boomy voice. So I knew, age 7, there was a troll under every bridge. And these are the bridges that I want to talk to you about today. The high bridges, where you're scared to look down. The bridges covered in mist with half the planks missing, that when you step on them, they swing from side to side. So to cross the bridge, you've got to know what's on the other side. You've got to want to be there. And you've got to need what it is that's there on the other side. Otherwise, don't bother. Put the kettle on, cup of tea, packet of salt and vinegar crisps, bit of Netflix. But if that sounds like the perfect metaphor for whatever it is that you feel you can't achieve right now, I am here to tell you, you can cross that bridge and you can avoid being eaten by trolls at the same time. So, this is a tuning fork. I'm standing on the TED stage with a tuning fork. As a professional singer and as a member of the chamber choir when I was at Oxford University, I got to travel the world to sing. And we were going through customs in China, and the security guard was searching our bags. And he pulled out one of these and looked like he'd found an offensive weapon. But there's a really easy way to diffuse this situation, right? To demonstrate. Boo! The troll that was there that day was the feeling that we weren't going to be understood. There was a huge chasm between our cultures and our language. So, it's not just customs. You go around the world with your music, and the troll follows you, wherever I've been. Israel, Russia, Mexico. The troll was there, saying, are you going to be accepted? Are you going to be understood? But when you sing with other people, something brilliant happens. Your voices form this structure, just your voices. And then in cultures where you can barely order a cup of coffee, you can explain things to people. Hope, depression, love, or grief. Your skills are more powerful than you think. The things that you know how to do and the things that you've learned how to do. You can elbow the culture gap troll out of the way. You'll cross that bridge. This is a big biro. This is my best friend. I like this a little more than I like a lot of people. Ask my colleagues. In my current job at the Environment Agency, I use this a lot. The other things that I need to do my job are an open mind, and it helps to have a sense of humour. In my job, I listen to people's problems, I help them find solutions, and I match those solutions with the people who are best placed to make it happen. A bit like a wireless router, all this jumbled information comes in, and then helpful, friendly solutions come out the other side. But to do the most effective job, you just need to do less with what you've got. If you need to write something down, you don't spend 2 weeks planning a trip to Paper Chase. You grab what's to hand, and you get to your outcome. You use your skills and your resources to just do the things that need to be done. And the same goes for those of us managing teams. People are our most valuable resource. They have experience, they have skills, they have enthusiasm. And who is the right person to do the job? Who will just do the work and get to that outcome? Who is your big biro? Trust that you have the resources you need. The people, you need the people. You need the pens and the post-it notes, but you need the people. When the troll, inside or outside of you, tells you that you haven't got the resources you need, just be resourceful. get the troll out of the way. You might be wondering what this big white oily thing is. This is a clippy bike shoe. Experts will tell you this makes you cycle faster. I'd like to tell you that this straps you to your bike so that when you're going down quite a steep hill, you can't get out of it. But this shoe also quite cheesily represents how I overcame the biggest troll, which was my lack of self-belief. And in July, I found myself on the start line of a half Ironman triathlon. You might like to call it a half Iron person triathlon, given where we are today. At school, I wasn't the sporty type. I was one of the musical ones. I was the one who came fourth last in cross-country and got told off by my cross-country teacher for being sick on a path and not in a bush. I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that. But, you know, luckily, with adulthood comes a little bit of perspective. The troll that was there at school, that just jumped up, Game of Thrones giant-sized, really hairy, and said, "Here's a free pass, be a musician. Don't be fit and healthy." It was kind of there all the way through to when I left university. So with adulthood, I got a little bit wiser, and very slowly and painfully, I started jogging. It's really slow and painful. I'm sure lots of us here have done that and thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to die after 5 minutes. Yeah, it does feel like that for everybody. But I did that, and gradually, I edged the troll out. I ran a 5K race, ran a 10K race, half marathon. I even did a beginner's triathlon for charity. But from my time as a singer, I knew that evidence enough, it wouldn't get me past that bit where I felt like I was about to fail. It needed something else. It needed gumption. So I entered this half Iron distance triathlon. Immediately, the troll jumped out from behind its bridge, it's kind of bush, stage right, and said, "You shouldn't do that. You can't do that. You've got no right to be triathlon." Yeah. So my big biro had a new list of things to write down. A list of things that some were new, some were hard. I went back to the swimming pool, and I re-awarded myself all those little sew-on badges I'd got when I was 10. I also swam outside for the first time in a wetsuit in Salford Keys, in 14-degree cold water. It was fun. I also learnt to ride a bike with curly handlebars with some of these shoes, and I bought that bike secondhand from a boss, and my former boss, who was very understanding and gave me a little lesson in our work parking garage to try it out. And he got to watch me twice topple, Bridget Jones style, like a swan, onto the hard concrete floor. It was good. I also learned that when you have your little pieces of malt loaf in the bag on your bike, if you don't zip it up properly, they fall out. A malt loaf falling off a bike, splinking onto the road, sounds like bits of your bike falling off. I spent a whole duathlon race in the warm-up for my triathlon, petrified that my gears were about to sheaf off my bike and I was going to be left grazed and stranded. And I just ended up with a bit less malt loaf. It's really sad. I also joined a CrossFit gym. I wanted to get stronger. I didn't just get stronger. And there I found a community of people who were told, you can do it with the body you've got. And that culture is like bug spray for trolls. So, although there were dark moments, and there were dark moments, there were times when I looked back over my shoulder and I saw how far I had come already. So July came, and in one weekend, I went to my friend's wedding in Liverpool, and I did the triathlon in Norfolk. Not a bridge that it seemed possible to cross at the time, but we ate the elephant one slice at a time, as the saying goes. And on the day itself, I had a flat tire before the race started, and I had my first ever open water swimming-induced panic attack. But I did it. Hooray! And although I was challenged again and again, I went at it. I tried and I failed, and I went at it with gumption. The trolls were always there, inside and out. But the more little things I did, the smaller they got, the quieter they got. I just had to try. So which trolls have told you that you have not got the skills, the resources, or the gumption to cross whichever bridge it is you want to cross? You have the skills, you have the resources, and you have the gumption. You will cross the bridge. Thank you.